Good morning, welcome back to Jones with Travel. Coming back to you today with a couple RV maintenance items. First of all, we're going to replace our sediment and our carbon filter and our pre-stage filters for our water. I have a two-stage that goes in line between the spigot at the RV park and the RV. And we get these from the folks over at the RVwaterfilterstore.com. So go check them out. I'll put my affiliate link below. They actually have three different systems. They have the two-stage system that goes in line. They have similar to an RO system that goes under your sink for drinking water. It's amazing. We have it. It's actually a ceramic filter. It filters out pretty much everything. And then they also have a water softener system. So I have a three-stage system. We don't yet have the water softener system piece. We're looking to add that on in the future. But for now, we do the pre-stage and we do the drinking water. We don't have to buy bottled water anymore. We're able to pull water directly out of our tank, and it takes care of those microbes and anything else that could be in there. We do sanitize once a year, but you just never know what might be in the water, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to tackle changing these two filters today. We're also going to tackle cleaning and changing out the anode rod in our hot water heater. We have a Suburban hot water heater that takes a magnesium rod, and I know some hot water heaters take an aluminum rod, so check with your manufacturer. We get these off of Amazon, so I'll put the link to this one below for the Suburban, but always check with your hot water heater manufacturer if you have someone different so that you can get the correct rod. But we're going to replace this today. Actually, we're going to check the one that I put in a year ago. It may not need to be replaced yet, but I bought a spare just in case. I always keep a spare on board. What this does is this attracts the hard water and some of the damaging sediments that can get in your hot water heater. Of course, we pre-stage, pull sediments out. We do the best we can to keep the water clean, but still something's still going to get in there. I check mine once a year. It says check it every time you drain it. So if you winterize your RV, you're going to want to pull this out when you drain it to go to winterize and check and make sure that it's in good working order. As part of that cleaning, we're going to use this little wand. It's pretty neat. It goes on the end of the garden hose, has a little valve here, and we're going to insert that into the hot water heater where the anode rod comes out, and we're going to and basically just sprays water and cleans all that gunk out of there, and you'll see it flow out. So that's part of the maintenance of changing that anode rod, is making sure you clean out your hot water heater. There's a couple other procedures you can do with vinegar and that sort of thing. You can put vinegar in the hot water heater and let it sit and soak if it's really bad. If you purchased a used RV, or you haven't changed yours or checked yours because you simply didn't know, there's some other procedures that you can do to really clean all this stuff out of there. Thanks again for joining me here. Let's get into it, and let's get this hot water tank clean and get these filters changed. So the first thing we're going to do today is change out these filters. Again, sediment filter and the carbon filter. Now we're going to use this little wrench. It came with the filters, and you simply slide it on. It hits these ribs with these notches, and you loosen it like that. Now I pre-loosened these filters because they were pretty tight. But if they are too tight, what you can do is you can lay them down like this on the ground, and you can hold it, and you can pop it loose like this. So that always works as well. So I'm going to make note that this is in and this is out. Our sediment filter is going to go first, and then our carbon filter is going to go second. So I'm going to pull these off, simply unscrew them like this. And there's that canister. You can kind of see the nasty filter in there. And then this one is our carbon. Pull that off, and we're going to lay this aside. We're going to actually take this and clean it. You can kind of see the gunk from the water in there. We're going to clean that, and you can see the carbon filter in here. So I'm going to take both of these filters, and I'm going to go put them in the dumpster, and I'm going to clean these out really well. I'm going to clean this out, and then we'll come back and we'll put these back in, tighten everything back up, and hook it back up. I threw these filters out, and I got my handy little brush that I can brush and clean these out with. There's an O-ring in here, so you have to be conscious of that. Don't let that O-ring come out. That's what seals it so it won't leak under pressure, and same with this one. Okay, got all of these cleaned out. You can see here, much cleaner. So we're going to go ahead and put our sediment filter in our first container. Now, one thing you note is there's a hole here, and in the bottom of the container, I don't know if you can see it, but lighting's not that great, but there's a raised piece that goes inside that hole. So just kind of put it in there. It should land pretty much where it needs to be. You can look visually check and make sure. And then we're going to place our sediment filter. Make sure there's no cellophane. There's no cellophane packaging around this. It doesn't matter which way it goes, so we're just going to slide it in the same. Make sure it's over that knob in the bottom. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my magic lube. If you saw my other video about changing out the waste tank valve, I used this on the O-rings there. So I'm going to do the same here. Actually, I'm going to pull that back out. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit just on this O-ring, just to keep it kind of soft so it doesn't harden up and leak. Put that back in there, and I'll do the same with this one. Put just a tiny bit. It doesn't take much at all. Just a tiny bit. There we go. And I'll put the link to this down below as well. So there's that one. And then make sure you orientate this correctly. So you've got in and out, and you want to hit your sediment filter first. So the sediment filter first, and we're just gonna thread this back on here like this. There we go. And then our carbon filter second. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna thread it back on here like this. There we go. And then we're going to take this little wrench to it, and we're just gonna snug it just slightly. It doesn't need to be very tight. When I disconnect this to move the RV, I use these caps to plug it, and then that way I can set it inside my RV and it doesn't leak. So this is pretty simple to hook up. You have in coming from the spigot of the RV park, just threads in. It's just a garden hose fitting, and it's going to go through, and then out is going into your RV. Now, I haven't connected this yet because this is a new carbon filter, and we want to run some water through it to get all the extra carbon out. Just let that run for a few minutes just to get the extra carbon out of there. Once the water runs clear, you should be okay. And I'm just going to connect my coach to the filter pack. Remember, in and out, just like that. Shouldn't need to be more than about hand tight. There we go, all hooked up. We have no leaks. Now I have put a couple zip ties on mine, and I like to bring them over here and just hang them. I have a couple hooks, just hang them so that it keeps them stable. You can cover them, keep the sun off of them, but there you go. That's all there is to it. Now we're going to tackle this hot water heater anode rod. We're going to open this door up here. We're going to make sure this unit's off. I've turned it off on the inside. I'm going to turn it off here, and then we're going to make sure that our water is turned off. The anode rod is located here, and this is also what you would use to drain it. So you'd pull this plug out. Now, not every water heater is the same, I understand that, but on these Suburban hot water heaters, this is the drain plug and the anode rod. So basically we're going to loosen this. And remember, again, the hot water heater's been off for a bit, so the water's not hot. There we go. Shouldn't be terribly tight. I do have some thread tape on it. The only bad thing about these crow's feet is you gotta continue to adjust them. There we go. Alright, get that pressure out of there. I'm going to pull this out. Now, like I said, it's been a year, and look at that. You can see how that anode rod is pretty chewed up, and about all that's left is the rod. We've been in some hard water this year, so what I might consider doing is moving my my check up to every 6 months. You can see the difference there. So anyway, well, it's a good thing I checked it. This is no good, so I'm just going to set it aside. We've had a sediment filter that we just changed the filter in on here, so you can see how much crap gets in here. Gonna put that down there for now. Just let this thing drain. Okay, well that took about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes to get drained. Now I have my little wand here attached to garden hose, and I'm gonna insert that here and we'll see what kind of crap comes out. Let's put it in here first, and then we're gonna slowly turn it on. I'm just gonna really blast it, and we're just gonna kind of turn it around and get stuff blasted out of here. Woo, that's a lot. Look at that. And that's after 1 year. So I'm going to step up my cleaning regimen to every 6 months. Pretty confident I got all the sediment out of there. You can see that, you know, I had quite a few chunks that came out of there. Some of that came off that rod, but some of it was just stuck on the inside. So one tip that I would give you is don't give up too early. You know, if you think it's clean, keep trying until, you know, you pretty much don't get anything else out. And if you have a water heater that's really bad, like I said before, you can always do the vinegar method to clean it. I've got some Teflon tape here on the new rod, and we're going to insert it in here and just start the threads like that. Now, one important tip: do not turn the electric part of your water heater on before it's full of water. So you could risk burning out your electric element. So I always leave this switch off, fill it with water, and then come back out here and turn it on. I'm gonna go turn the water back on. We'll check for leaks, and we'll go from there. Hot water heater's full. We have no leaks. This is dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this on. I already went inside and I bled all the water out with the faucet. So make sure this thing is completely full. I'm gonna turn the power on here, and then we'll go back inside and we'll turn on the electric element. Put the cover back on, and all buttoned up, and we're good to go. Okay, well there you have it. Thanks for joining me today and swapping out our water filters and cleaning our hot water heater and replacing that anode rod. Remember, check your anode rod at least once a year, or every time you drain your hot water heater for winterization. Keep extra anode rod on hand. I'll put the link below for the one that I got off Amazon. One thing I wanted to make sure I was clear on for the water filters, when you buy replacement filters or when you buy the pre-stage setup, you're going to get 2 sediment filters and a carbon filter. The sediment filter you should change every 6 months, and the carbon filter once a year. So check out the guys over at the RV Water Filter Store. I'll put their link below as well. And you know, let them know Jones Under Travel sent you. They'll hook you up with great water filter products that you need for your RV. Thanks again, travel safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye.
Thanks for checking out our latest video. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And while you're at it, click on the little bell to get notifications every time we upload a new video. Thanks again.